It's always a treat when games give us a chance to pick some really goofy playable characters, especially if they're a stark contrast to the game at hand. Ever wanted to control a flying chunk of soy food in a zombie-infested survival horror game? These are the 5 most bizarre playable characters in games. Number 5. Ghost characters. The Warriors. There aren't many great video games based on movies out there. Rockstar, creators of Grand Theft Auto and the Red Dead series, hit it out of the park with their free-roaming fighting game adaptation of the cult classic movie, The Warriors. Half of the game is set before the events of the movie and consists of untold conflicts with the other groups. Eventually, the Warriors find themselves on every goon's hit list after being framed for the murder of the spokesman for every gang out there in New York. Returning to Coney Island is a life or death scenario. After completing the game, you are rewarded with an arcade-style, side-scrolling beat-em-up minigame, akin to Streets of Rage, called Armies of the Night. Beat that, and you'll get ghost versions of the deceased warriors from the movie, as well as a spectral version of the 2 characters who survived. It's a bit weird seeing spirits of dead gang members return with a vengeance, but bonus characters for the multiplayer mode is something you can't argue with. Number 4. Godfathers Hoes, WWF No Mercy. Pimpin' ain't easy, even in sports entertainment. The Godfather was a stereotypical gimmick, an adapt one at that. It was still popular enough to be included in the company's wrestling games, accompanied by his Ladies of the Night. Players with a Game Shark attachment could tap into WWF WrestleMania 2000's game files and play as one of the Godfather's scantily dressed hoes. They were officially introduced in WWF No Mercy as playable characters with a ridiculous price tag, a whopping $500,000. Considering the fact that these ladies had a very small set of moves and were rubbish to play as, why they were included as playable superstars was anybody's guess. Keep in mind that other unlockable wrestlers, like Cactus Jack and Shawn Michaels, could be purchased for far less than a tenth of what Ho was worth. Also, unlike Ho, these guys have actual identities. Number 3. Drag Queen, Twisted Metal 4. While Twisted Metal 2's combination of chaotic vehicular destruction, explosive weaponry, and darkly humorous comic book style cutscenes helped establish itself as the best in the series, the less said about the tragically disappointing game that was Twisted Metal 3, the better. Weak level design, ridiculous characters, and lazy endings were the 3 biggest problems with it. 989 Studios were clearly new to making games like these. The company tackled most of these issues in their 4th entry, that is, with the exception of the laughable cast of drivers. The owner of the miniature, flame-spewing hot rod is a drag queen, Petunia, and looks absolutely horrifying. This overweight driver, donning a tutu and wig, wants to win the Twisted Metal competition in order to become famous and in order to perform live in front of the world. All she needs to do is incinerate an abundance of people in the process. And to top it all off, this freaky driver was voiced by John St. John, better known as the voice of Duke Nukem. Hail to the Queen, baby? Yeah, okay. Number 2. Tofu, Resident Evil 2. Ganglord Ghost and blokes in drag are one thing, but this bizarre inclusion to the survival horror series Resident Evil is a literal hunk of bean curd. Unlocking this mode is tough enough, because you need to complete 6 scenarios in any order with a perfect A ranking. Tofu is the star of his own secret minigame, the Tofu Survivor. It's a spin on the unlockable 4th Survivor mode. In the original, Super Soldier Hunk must complete a time attack run through the sewers and labs, and to the police station's helicopter pad as quickly as possible, using a limited amount of ammo and health supplies. His path is blocked by zombies of all kinds, as well as a few bosses. Poor Tofu gets it worse. While he can take a lot more damage, he has no weapons aside from a knife, meaning killing everything in his way is near impossible. It's the toughest mission in the game, and also the goofiest. Things don't end well though. Hunk ends up cooking Tofu aboard the helicopter on the ranking screen. Obviously this isn't canon to the plot, though we're all probably wishing it was. Number 1. Senator. Eternal Champions, Challengers from the Dark Side. Eternal Champions, Challengers from the Dark Side was a hybrid of fast-paced fighters like Street Fighter and violent ones like Mortal Kombat. The sequel was released for the Sega CD in 1995, offering more characters and stages, better music, and finishers so gruesome it makes Mortal Kombat's content seem tame in comparison. One of these fighters is an American senator. He utilizes the secret fighting style known as dishonesty, and abuses his political powers to claim victory. For instance, he traps foes in red tape, uses diplomatic immunity to deflect attacks, knocks all opposition down with bribes, and tosses paperwork banning violence, leaving the other fighter unable to attack for a little while. The senator is a satirical inclusion. The developers wanted to poke fun at the US government for their hyperbole-laden arguments on why video games should be banned, and for inspiring violence in real life. The satire doesn't stop there. The tournament features many warriors who were intended on improving the world for the better, only for them to be killed before doing such. If a character wins, they are given a chance to cheat death. The senator died of a heart attack during a landslide election. On victory, he calms his heart rate down and reveals to the world about the corruption in the United States. Though it sinks his only chance at getting elected, being part of countless scandals himself, he avoids imprisonment by turning in state's evidence. As a result, he becomes a celebrity, making millions in books, movies, and starring on chat shows. For more top lists just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out our other lists, and thanks for watching, and thanks for learning.